Hello, Otafest listeners, and welcome to the Otafest podcast. It's Jay, and I'm joined by the lovely Nancy and Dio today.
Hello.
Yay, hello. I'm back.
Angelo is asleep.
Yes, he is. He
Like
is
a baby.
having a long-term nappy nap.
Whoa,
Also
a
called
long-term nap.
sleeping.
Yes,
My
indeed.
God.
Also called resting. He's having a restful
Actual
night's sleep.
Wild. Thank you for joining us today. We haven't had you on in a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's been a little bit, but I'm happy to be back.
yeah.
I love everyone.
We always love
Wonderful.
having you.
Yeah. Before we get too far, let's jump into a couple of announcements that we have because Otafest is coming. It's on its way.
It's coming. Otafest is coming. And speaking of people who are coming to Otafest, we're very excited to welcome Miss Sonia Blade to Otafest 2021. Sonia is an award-winning Afro-Latina cosplayer who started cosplaying in 2016 but has been attending conventions since 2008. She specifically loves creating Disney, anime, webtoon comics, and video game cosplays, and we're super excited to have her be attending as a special guest to Otafest Live 2021. She's going to be doing a sew-along, so you'll be able to sew along, learn how to make a corset with her, learn the tips and tricks to get that perfect shape to help elevate your perfect cosplays with a corset. So I'm very excited to have her come
So
as a special
exciting.
guest and teach us how to make some corsetry.
Yes, I'm super excited for that segment. And we also want to let you know that Otafest's digital cosplay craftsmanship contest is open for submissions until April 30th, which is coming up really soon. We want to see your costumes. This contest revolves around the creation process of your costumes. So get those portfolios ready and head on over to otafest.com/cosplay to enter to win a part of the $200 prize pool.
Wow.
Cash money, cash money.
Get that bag, cosplayers.
And you know, if you don't win for some reason, but you can go watch Sonia Blade's tutorials,
Yeah.
so you can win next time.
True. You know,
That's how that
Sonia,
works.
you're getting set up for success here, really. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Totes.
Speaking of wearable things, have you visited the Otafest merch store yet? Don't miss out on the Otafest 2021 sweatshirt as created by Faith Varvara. That's Instagram at Faith Varvara. Available in navy, lilac, and pink. Stock is running low, so get yours as soon as possible. It's got a super cute design,
It's
as
so
always.
cute. It's
It's
delicious.
a little like bento box. It's so cute.
Yes,
So damn
it's
cute.
beautiful. Visit otafest.square.site for all your official Otafest merchandise needs.
Yay! Exciting.
Yeah.
I love
So
mine.
exciting.
It's very fluffy and cute.
I want to just shout out to a certain Miss Waterman, just because I may have accidentally butt dialed them in my attempt to get the podcast going
podcast
today.
going.
So I'm just going to say hello. This one's for you.
What's your most embarrassing butt dial ever?
I've definitely done the 911 butt dial.
Oh no.
I don't think I've done the 911. That was the first one I jumped to because of reasons that I can think about a lot.
Yeah.
But that happens. The 911 butt dials, I just want to put it out there.
They happen.
They happen a lot. And depending on your municipality and how they handle them, some municipalities are well, it's always a concern. Like whenever you get a 911 call, they're always like, what is up? You know,
yeah, it's like you
why
don't know
did you...
if it's a butt dial or if it's an emergency and the person like can't talk.
Can't
Exactly.
speak. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you I'm going to throw it out there that even if you do butt dial, don't
hang up.
actually hang up
Just say,
out of embarrassment.
Just say, hey,
Yeah.
sorry, my butt dialed. It's okay. Nothing's wrong. There's
Yeah.
no emergency.
Yeah, and they'll double check. They'll be like, "Are you sure nothing's wrong?" Because sometimes something's wrong, and they can only say that nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
But it's for everyone's good and everyone's benefit. Anyways, moving on. Not to get too serious about it, but these are just things
But
that
it
I know.
happens.
It's
It
definitely
happens.
something that's
It's
good
real.
to
It's very real.
make people aware of.
I don't know if I've had any embarrassing ones where like I called someone and then they heard like snippets of conversations. I don't. That's a very movie thing.
I'm the person who gets, like, I'm the receiver of the butt dial. often.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's because Dio's on like the starred contacts all the
I
time.
have to be. Like, I don't know why, but like, especially, so the biggest offender is my mom.
Oh yeah.
My mom butt dials me so often, and I'll answer the phone because like my mom either
calls you on the regular.
Yeah,
anyways?
like it's either something important and like she wants to talk to me, or
Yeah.
it's a butt dial, but it's like a 50-50 which one it is. So I answer every time and I'll know because I'll go hello and I'll just hear her like talking. And like sometimes the worst is when she's like clearly at work and I'm just like, oh, okay. And I just hang up.
Right. You're like, I see how
You're like,
it is.
I understand.
She doesn't want to talk to me. She doesn't love
me no more. But so she'll do that, or like it's very obvious. My favorite ones are when like she's clearly driving. Like she's like clearly just like shifted in her chair and her butt has like activated the phone somehow. And so I'll just kind of like hear like driving noises and then like really loud like bass boosted music.
I like that. Driving
sounds, the rooms.
Yeah. I do know of a story from maybe a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago in the before times. So maybe it's not even real.
True.
Where I think it was in the UK, there was a couple of burglars and they were going to like break and enter and enter into somebody's home. And they accidentally butt dialed 911 and like the police picked up on it, right? And then it's a butt dial, but they like started listening and they were talking about like they were in the process of
committing a crime,
breaking and entering.
Yeah,
exactly. So they were able to like essentially like zero in on like the location of the phone and everything like that. They actually got caught off of it, and they were like. The police were like dumbfounded. They're like, this never happens, but it's amazing that it did. Like this is, TV show stuff, movie stuff. You know what I mean?
It's amazing.
So I thought that was great.
I love when karma's ironic like that.
I mean, there's just something like so like the universe is saying, don't do this, but
y'all shouldn't be doing this. Please don't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of please don't. Do either of you or anyone listening, please let us know, have a pile of shame? And I don't mean like shame like public shaming, but like stuff you've collected or like bought you've never used and or display or even want people to know that you have.
It's probably like the premium location for piles of shame are commonly found in closet, for example.
Yep.
Or instead of display cases, or instead of bookshelves, it's somewhere in the closet.
Yeah.
A closet.
Unfortunately, the ADHD special means that I start a lot of hobbies and don't finish them. So I have a very large pile of like projects that were like, I'm gonna start that.
Projects are not as bad. I gotta say, like if it's like things like stationery,
but you see,
or like
stationery is I can excuse because it's like I might not use it right now, like immediately.
Yes, but there's a future
for it. But I mean, like projects that like clearly have like I should do this. And then I'm just not doing it because brain said I don't want to right now. And so it just sits in a closet for years until I give it away or throw it out, or it just remains in the closet for eternity. Because that's what that's my pile of shame, is like looking at the list of the closet full of projects of like, I was gonna do this and then my brain said, actually I want to go hyper focus on something else. Like I have a Furby in my closet.
Huh.
Right.
I have a Furby.
Okay.
I have a Furby.
One?
I know about this Furby. Actually, I don't know why you have this Furby, but I actually do know about it.
I wanted...
Mostly peripherally.
Yeah, I wanted to do a long Furby project. So it's like, I have all this extra... So that's problem number one, is I have all this extra fabric left over from cosplay projects that got abandoned. So I was like, I want to use some of that and make a long Furby. And I was like,
oh, that's terrifying.
Man, that would be really terrifying. Fun to make a terrifying long Furby. Like, I was like, that would be really fun. So I was like, well, if I'm going to make a long Furby, I need to get a Furby.
I need to have a Furby.
So I went on Kijiji and I found a Furby. And the next day, I drove across the city to buy a used Furby.
How long ago was this? Like, when was the original timeline for this project? Just out of curiosity.
It was like in the before times, I feel like.
Oh, no.
I'm pretty sure it was
I've known you've had a Furby for like a year, but I didn't know how long.
I'm pretty sure it was
year.
in the before times, and the Furby and all the fabric is just vibing
Sitting
in my
there.
closet. He's just there. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes he probably like jump scares people who go into the closet like unexpectedly and awaken him.
Could you imagine someone who was like trying to rob you and they go in the closet and get jump scared by this thing and just GTFO?
Like in the middle of the night.
Jesus.
like 3 a.m.
Furby sees all.
To be fair, I am also guilty of this. So like I crochet and I've made countless blankets and throws and stuff for people, but
Right.
you know, someone was like,
I was about to say, like in our community, it's either going to be like stationery or fabrics or like fabric related thing. That's going to be a major one other than like collectibles. So, but yeah, sorry, go on.
So, I have made blankets. I've made scarves. Sure, whatever. Those are easy. But then it was like, oh, I could also make really adorable things like this Totoro that my friend designed. I could do that. So I got into learning all of the different ways that you have to put your stitches together so that like you can make a round thing, for example, because I hadn't made round things up until that point. So I made the Totoro body and I made his eyes. So now I have this gray ball of yarn that is stuffed. There's stuffing in it. It's round. It's a ball. It has a tail of unfinished yarn because you're supposed to leave that there for when you finish it up and you actually like, you know, tuck it all away and
Pull it together kind of thing.
But like it's just a gray ball with eyes. That's all it is right now. And
that still sounds cute.
it's just like it doesn't have the ears, it doesn't have his big leaf thing. It doesn't have like his belly piece because he's supposed to have like a white fuzzy belly. Like none of that stuff I got to. But hey, I made a ball and I put some eyes on it.
I'm trying to think because like I want to. People know that I don't really collect things, and therefore I am very good about uncollecting things that I do collect, as in I give things away often or I sell things often that I don't use. Like I am the anti-hoarder. Even my like the closest thing I can think of is like my games library is just like full of stuff that I would never play. But
Marie Kondo would be proud.
Yes.
I just can't. I think it's because I'm a mess, so my life is not allowed to be a mess. I hate buying game bundles as well because like they'll have like 6 or 7 games that like I just do not care about. Like sorry, Humble Bundle, but
that is how they sell though.
Don't care.
That is how they sell though, right? Like they wrap in a whole bunch of things that you may not care for or have heard of, but they put the one thing in there that you do want.
Yeah, and I understand why they do it. Everyone understands why. Just not my deal. I'd rather just buy the thing individually. Don't give me like 30 visual novels that are like made by indie. Like, not that they're not good. I just will never play them because that's not what I was looking for. I am very much a what do I want now? And that's what I'm going to play now. Right?
Valid.
Would you say that's also how you shop in general?
Yeah. I will say that I'm trying to think if there's anything. Like, I'm honestly trying to think if I have a pile of shame. And the answer is not really. I just have collections of, like, stupid shit, like computer parts and cables. Or, like, old... I keep all my old cards and stuff that people send me.
Aww.
Letters, cards, and stuff. But that's not a shame. It's just... Those are, like... I have a pin board at home kind of thing. Or not a pin board. Cork board, like a big cork board. And like I every year, like I'll take down all the stuff that I got from the year before, and then like I file all that away, and then time for a new year with new things and from friends and family and
That's
inspirations
cute.
and things like that.
That's
But
cute.
I don't really have a shame thing, which I'm happy to say, I guess, at the end of the day.
I definitely have a like I have a backlog of things for skincare that I just have. Like, if I saw something that I was I wanted this, and I'm going to need this within the next 3 to 5 months, I'll buy it. And it just kind of, I have a drawer as my backlog, but at least I know it's there. And I like have a mental backlog in my mind of, okay, when this current item that I have out, when it runs out, I will replace it with this one that's coming up in the list. So not really a pile of shame, more just a collection of backlog items.
I'm going to say that I hoard so little that I usually only have about 4 or 5 tabs open on my browser maximum.
Oh, dude.
That's how
you don't want to know how many open tabs I have left open on purpose on my phone.
No.
Nope.
That is, to me, that is taboo. That is not allowed for me. For other people, I know a lot of people have tabs open. That's fine. That's why the tab system was created. It's fantastic. I currently, even now, like in a working space that we are doing podcasts and everything, I have 4 tabs open. And that's it. That's all there's gonna be. Now I have 3.
Wow. It's that anti-hoarding mentality at work.
And we're down to 2.
Wow. Closed
My
Discord.
God. Anyway. So yeah, that's just the thing. But everyone's got a pile. Like when I was younger, I had like manga or some other like physical games and stuff like that I was just like, no one needs to know that I have this game. Not for any weird reason, just like, just cause I used to be part of I want to say like net groups. I can't remember what they were called. They were like almost like bulletin board groups of like indie games or visual novel distributors, sort of. And they would just send you out like for free. Like you just gave them your address and they would send you out CDs. Yes, when CDs were a thing, that like of like games that you couldn't get from like GameStop, for example, because the content was just not like American audience stuff,
Cool.
So I get them from like my brother in Hong Kong, but I'd also get them from like people online. They just like people would play them and essentially just pass them on.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Probably pens. I have pens and markers and stuff that I use for calligraphy, but I haven't been doing a lot of calligraphy lately. It's kind of a weird one because it's like now is the perfect time for me to be sending like postcards, letters to people.
Oh, that reminds me.
Yeah, I've been going off on the
that.
stationery and like writing people letters and sending them postcards. Like I have an entire drawer filled with stationery. I bought a lot of stationery as a result of the time after the before times. So I've been doing a lot of journaling, a lot of letter writing, but it's been very fun.
Right.
And as a result, I've been able to excuse myself hoarding stickers. And then I'm further able to excuse it because I'm a lot of the time, like I like to buy like oftentimes fandom stickers or like fan art stickers.
Right.
So I end up supporting like small artists because like there's their individual shops and they make their own stickers. And I'm just like, yeah, these are so cute. I want them. Hand them over. Take my wallet.
Yeah. But like, it's funny because I've hit the conundrum now where it's like, I need stamps, but I don't want to risk going to the post office right now because I know that the one near me is very, very busy all the time. And I need stamps. But I also have a pile of things that I should be sending. But I need stamps.
Or
I need to go to the post office.
From Canada Post?
Yeah, you
can you just order stamps?
I'm pretty sure you can.
Sweet.
Because it's just because think about it, it's just a product, right? Like,
yeah, you can just buy them.
It's a product that it's a product that validates a service.
I think you can buy stamps
on their own,
like in other places too, like at like drugstores and stuff. Even if they don't
Control
have a post
T
office.
for a new tab to add to my pile of tabs.
Yes.
CanadaPost.com.
Yes. See if you can order. Because usually what I do, so I have the luxury of I work in a different time zone than I live. So when I take my lunch break, it's after like regular peak lunch hours for everyone in the area. So like a lot of the time when I want to send mail, I just like have a hoard of things that I finish and maybe want to send out that week or that month, and I bring them all to the post office at once. and then send them off. My current Canada Post disaster, or no, not Canada Post, my current shipping disaster has been, I have ordered a new interface, and I don't know what it is, but trying to get a package to leave the United States and get into the country of Canada when it's not an ordered, like, product from, like, a commercial space is, like, impossible.
No.
And I'm like, just get here. Like, what is happening? FedEx did a really big silly. They took...
They have blue whale stamps.
Ooh. FedEx took my package, which a friend was shipping me an extra audio interface that he had.
Yeah.
All right, shipping from Chicago, coming to Calgary, Alberta.
Chicago.
All right. It
Alberta.
leaves Chicago and ends up in Bakersfield, Illinois. And I get a delivery notification that they dropped it off in Bakersfield, Illinois. And I'm like, I'm looking at the shipping notification. I'm like, the address that you've dropped it off at, man, it matches neither the send to on the delivery notification nor the shipping notification. Like, y'all.
Lovely.
What are you having?
Y'all dumb.
And how do I get some? Because what? So now we're like, well, let's try USPS and see if they'll at least get it to leave the country successfully.
From there, yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay, I just want to point out that Canada Post has a stamp at the moment that commemorates 100 years of insulin.
That's super cool.
I actually want to get it. I want to get onto this little deviant here because like at the beginning of pandemic I was like, what's something interesting that I can do that I don't normally do? And it's like, well, I like writing and I like sending letters and cards. I just didn't really have, so like I just put out a small call on like my social about like, hey, you know, who wants, for the people who not necessarily have to be out of Calgary or whatever, but like for people who are especially out of Calgary, you know, who can I send out to? And if anyone's interested in being like a mutual little pen pal kind of thing, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be regular. The agreement is that we don't text each other about it. Like we don't like say, oh, I got it. But you like, you know, if you get something, then, you know, think about next time when you're going to send something to somebody, right?
Yeah.
So it is sort of more of a surprise as opposed to like, hey, I sent you something, so, you know, look for it in the mail or anything. But like my game is bad. I just like, well, not like I don't have like really nice stationery. I have like my writing's okay, so that's at least, you know, tolerable, but I don't have like cool stamps. And now I have like 3 tabs open for like stamps that I might buy because we were talking about that. Ooh, the crab apple blossom looks pretty nice,
right? I'm gonna get me a roll of that.
And yeah, and I was like, this, because here's the thing, when I entered into this, I was like, I don't know what people are going to be sending me. My friends have some nice shit.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, oh god, I've been sending things from like notebook paper, like scribbled in like hi. And they're very like, they're I guess they're very like I guess homey or something, you know, like they're still like nice, but they're like not as nice as they could be. And I feel like I really need to up my game, and I need to respect the mutual sending of things, and the quality needs to be bumped.
And you know what the sad thing is? Right before pandemic, I was walking in a mall, you know, in the before times because it was normal, and I noticed that the Papyrus store was shutting down.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, well, I don't need to get anything right now. And I passed that opportunity by, and now I'm really salty that I did.
If anything, I would have just bought a crap load of their tiny envelopes. I love the tiny.
I
love those too.
will say I had the luxury of when that store was going down.
Yeah.
I worked in the building next to the location that was inside of TD Mall downtown. So like I would often go into that mall on like my lunch break because it was really nice because there's a food court in the higher level.
Yeah, and you can get food.
Go hang out in the garden
gardens
and stuff, right? So that's what I would do on lunch breaks all the time. So I would walk by that store all the time. I saw they were going out of business. I bought what did I do? I went nuts. I bought a notebook, which I'm still using, but it's about half full, so
Nice.
getting its use. I bought a whole bunch of cards, especially because they're Christmas cards. Like at that time, it was January, February, so that's when all like the Christmas stock is on sale in general, because they're trying to get rid of it.
Yep.
But then the way that they were doing it was because they were going out of business. It was like any deals just stack on top of each other. So if the whole star is 50% off and then there's a sticker on the box that says it's 20% off, it's now 70% off, because we just want to get rid of things. And so naturally, all the Christmas stuff was basically reduced to like you pay 10% of the price. So that would have been in 20 February of like 2019. And
yes, I believe it was 2019.
So I would say
all about it.
As of this year, I have just finally got to a point where I only have one box of Christmas cards.
Nice.
That's how many
Very
Christmas
nice.
cards I bought. I think I sent out 2019. I think I sent out probably 45 Christmas cards.
Very
But
cool.
it was very
Damn.
fun. I like
I'm-
sending cards to people in the mail. It's very fun. I like letter writing.
I'm currently looking at fancy envelopes.
I will say as well.
I'm going down I'm going down.
I'm a stationary.
My wallet.
I'm a stationary hoarder, and I really like stationery and like dressing up my letters. But I don't care. Like if I send a really fancy letter to someone, I don't care if I don't get a fancy letter back. Like I
mean,
Right.
started.
I
So I will
appreciate
say,
it.
Oh, me
I
neither.
don't expect it.
I started like doing physical letters when I was just before college, because I moved
Right.
away for college, and like sure you can keep in touch with like your friends, like social media was a thing, and you know,
Yeah, of
and I
course.
played games online with friends, but like it was nice to have something physical from a friend.
and get and get something in the mail that wasn't
a bill or like a piece of
something,
garbage.
something official
Yeah.
from
It was
something.
nice to have something that was just
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
someone thought of me and they felt the need to get it to me. So like a lot of people will assume or will think, well, doesn't that mean that you want something really fancy back? But it's like, no,
No.
I've kept every single letter that anyone has ever sent me. I have like a little folder of them so they don't
Aw,
get crushed.
that's
And like
great.
tons of them are just like little handwritten notes, or they have like little
Yeah.
dumb handwritten doodles, or some of them are even typed because people are like, I don't have like the greatest penmanship and I
that's-
want you to be able to read it. And I'm like, it's
Yeah.
still special to me. Like it's special. It's not special because it looks
Yeah.
nice or because like
It's
you
special
It'd be
handwrote
cool
because
if
it.
it looks
friendly.
nice.
It's cool.
but
It's nice
like,
if it looks nice. It's
Yeah.
nice if it's like it's handwritten.
But we're not. It's not like you're not trying to one up each other necessarily. It's just like that's how you want to convey your thing. Like my letters consist of, sometimes I'll send you some stickers, especially if it's like Otafest, some Otafest merch stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'll send, like, we have like Otafest stickers every now and then. We don't have too many, but I was like, people who were from our community or like part of a community, but they're not like here all the time. So I'll send stuff out and I'll be like, it's not because it's Otafest. It's just like, no, well, Otafest is part of my life as well. You have to think about it that way. And also just the idea that, I usually handwrite. My handwriting's okay. It could be better, but I used to handwrite a lot as a kid actually.
Oh,
and
I didn't know
then
that about you.
like cursive and everything, and then like I will sometimes just put in a sticky note where I've just doodled like a little, like sometimes it's like a Pokemon or something, just like
Aw.
That's so cute
And
and
like-
sweet, and I love that stuff, right? Like I you want to know what's something funny is like I have a letter that I remember, and the fact is I remember it, and this was like 10 years ago because it was when I was in college. Like before I was
Aw.
I was leaving high school, going to college. I had a good friend from high
Baby.
school send me a handwritten letter with like, he was like, I can't really draw, but I know you like cats, so I drew you a cat. And I remember exactly, like I know I could go dig it up right now and
That's
see it,
so
but
good.
like I remember
That's so
what this
good.
cat looks like, and it's like it's special not because it's the best render of a cat, but it's because you cared enough to do something that you're uncomfortable
Yeah.
with for me.
you took time and everything,
it's
right?
special.
And that is something that's also like a lot of folks are not that comfortable with doing it. So it's like there's an effort involved. Not in all, like for some people it's more so than others, but for sure there's I would like to think that it's the effort involved.
Yeah, definitely.
We have Dio. You and I have a mutual actually down the States who tries to send us things.
Yeah, and they just get. I don't know what's going on, but man, it's something. USPS.
One day, you and I are gonna get like 6 things.
USPS,
like 16 things,
USPS,
whatever it is,
and Canada Post are just holding hands, like they have like the muscle man grip of like losing this person's.
Yeah.
Packages and like letter
It's
mail
true.
to us.
Mm-hmm. It just gets eaten, but that's okay because I know them.
I know
sort of
the thought
as
of the
a
message.
person, and they're a good person.
And I mean, we still
So,
try.
I don't
We
worry about
haven't
it.
given up. One day,
Yeah, I still send. I still send them things just because.
We still try. Someday, it's going to be
Yeah.
successful, and that day is going to be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, like I said, like 30 things will just appear at your door and be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
I now really want to write a card to both of you.
I love cards.
Do it. I'll
Please,
take
I will
it.
put them. I
I'll
will
take
put
it.
them on my wall. I have a little wall of anytime someone has like
If
drawn
I-
me or doodled something. I keep it. Either goes in the if it's attached to the letter, it goes in the folder, so it doesn't get lost.
Yeah.
But if it's like a separate thing, it goes on the wall.
Oh yeah, like hold on. I'll like listeners, you won't be able to see this unfortunately, but I'll snap a photo of like my little corkboard wall that I was telling you about, and
Yeah.
I sit the card or the letter in the envelope, then I pin the envelope onto the wall, and then so I can see the card and the envelope
so
together, and then like
smart.
some stuff. So like I don't know, and like it has some. The wall is not always just like personal stuff that I've been sent. Like sometimes it has like reminders for appointments because I have to be an adult.
Yep.
But it's multifunctional.
Exactly.
But I don't know. It's super nice. Yeah.
Yep.
This has been such a feel good conversation.
It
I'm
is.
super
It is
about
just a reminder of like the power of friendship is just we all communicate in different ways, and we communicate in whatever way. Just like when you love people, you find ways to talk to them and show your love, and
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
what's
Not always. It does. Sometimes it's easier than others.
yeah.
But you always find
we
a
go.
way.
But it's a good way to be. It is nice, and I'm glad we got to all gush a little bit about how we like stationery.
Yeah. From the Hall of Shame to the Hall of Fame. Baby.
It's true.
Our collections went from an embarrassing thing to wonderful,
Good things.
wholesome, squishy things.
Right.
Very good things.
Speaking of wholesome squishy thing, food is a wholesome squishy thing. It gets squished in my mouth, and
Yeah,
I feel
munch.
whole after.
Hopefully, you feel whole after.
Yeah. I want to because I didn't put this on this. I want you to explain this for me, Nancy.
Okay. If you, for the rest of your life, had to be locked in to one flavor of anything that has flavors to choose from, so things like ice cream, yogurt, milk, those sorts of things, if you had to be locked into only one flavor, you don't get to choose anymore, what would it be?
A flavor.
A single flavor. And I also realized that yogurt doesn't have all the same flavors as like ice cream and gelato, but like, pretend that
And for this
pretend
purpose,
for this
it
purpose.
could have like bacon flavored yogurt,
Sure. Yes.
for example.
Go for it.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, before we get too far into this, I'm going to point out that there are some things that are very like they're novelty and unorthodox, but they still have flavor selections. Some of them are dirty things, so I can't talk about them. But because I've said that now, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do now.
So now that you have that idea too, that's a really difficult question. Do you have an answer for yourself?
I don't.
Or did you
and
just want to see?
the reason I
Okay.
put this on our talking points today was because it was something I thought of this morning when I was having yogurt. And it was
Right.
like, you buy a 6-pack or a 12-pack of yogurt and you go, which flavor do I want to eat right now? And I've noticed about myself that for strawberry, that's my go-to for yogurt. I like strawberry. I will like it
Right.
above vanilla for sure. I will like it above blueberry, and I will like it above raspberry. I will even like it above most of those fancy citrus flavors that you're finding now, or like mango for yogurt. And then I thought to myself, what else would I prefer strawberry on? Well, I like strawberry milk. Like, if you ever get the strawberry milk tea, so good. Strawberry ice cream, definitely a classic. Couldn't go wrong with that. Gelato, same thing. And I was thinking about it, and I was just like, could I possibly have strawberry everything that had strawberry for the rest of my life? Probably. But then there's also the other side of that coin where it's like, okay, that's all like sweet fruity stuff. What about savory things? What would I want for my permanent flavor of savory things? If I could only have one chip flavor, what would I be? And then my brain stopped there because now it's time to do the podcast. So I thought I'll just put this down and we can talk about it.
Everything that has flavors, that includes things like weird things like cereals,
Yes.
Cookies,
Yes.
Milks,
Yep.
because you have like banana milk, strawberry
Strawberry
milk,
chocolate milk, yeah.
So you could have, so this flavor choice extends to across the board.
It does.
Terrifying, really.
Yes. But the question is, if you had to be locked into one flavor, what would it be, and would you actually be okay with it?
Here's a better question. Is plain a flavor? Can I have it as so that everything just tastes of what it's supposed to taste, but I can't have a variant either?
Would you argue that vanilla is that plain base?
No, vanilla is not the plain base. So for yogurt, it would be yogurt flavor.
Okay, so it would just
Yogurt
be
has its
plain,
own flavor.
straight up yogurt.
Right. But I could argue that, like, if I'm gonna have a steak, like, for example, the meat's gonna be like still meat flavor, and then obviously like the salt, where you can get like flavored salts, but the salt's just gonna be salt flavor, the pepper's just gonna be regular pepper.
And no
You know what I
barbecue
mean?
sauce.
Gotcha.
No fancy rubs.
Right. So it would be, so on some level it would be bland, but it would also just be like, I don't know if this is a loophole necessarily, but I want to know if plain is a flavor
I don't know.
in this scenario.
Like, you could very ostensibly, you could argue for that and say, I just want, like, no additional flavorings. So you will forever have sweet ice cream, but there's no vanilla in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have flavored food.
But, like, if you're having ice cream and it's just ice cream,
It'd
there's
be
no vanilla.
A cold creamy milk
Yep.
flavor with sugar.
Yes, that would be it.
And I'd be okay with it. But I don't know if I want to have, like, again, bacon flavored everything, burger flavored everything, because, like, yeah, so many different constituents of, like, what you could do as a flavored option. So I'm terrified by that, to be honest.
Tia, what about you? How do you feel about being locked into one sweet flavor and one savory flavor for the rest of your life?
Oh, I'd be so down. Yeah.
Whoa.
I know
Tell
this is
me.
going to come as a shock, but
Nope.
I like a variety, but man, like, I've realized that, like, I have, like, McDonald's burger sauce is perfect. Like, and I was like,
McDonald's
I
burger
figured.
sauce.
Wait. We're talking like the Thousand Island Big Mac
Yeah.
sauce? Burger sauce? Okay,
Wow.
first of all.
Like, let me explain. Like, it's basically just mayo and, like, paprika.
It's mayo, paprika, ketchup, mustard, and relish. So it's essentially a Thousand Island sauce. It's very close
so
with maybe a couple
good.
tweaks.
Like, it's my favorite. And, like,
So-
I thought I would grow out of this, right? Because, like, I've liked Big Macs and I've liked that specific sauce since I was, like, a little kid. Like, I would make that, like, I
Right.
literally mix ketchup, mustard, relish, paprika, mayo, like, the whole thing, and make it at home and, like, put it on salads and put it in fries and on burgers and on everything. I'm in my 20s now. I still do this. I love that flavor. It will never stop. It is the one I could put that on anything and I would be happy. Like, if that was the only savory flavor I was allowed for the rest of my life, I think I would be okay. I would be A-okay.
So we're talking that sauce on your burgers, your hot dogs.
Yep.
That is the only thing you can put on steak.
Yep. We're still good.
Okay.
Ribs.
Okay.
Salad dressing.
Okay, I could see that. Salad dressing.
Dipping sauce. Chip dip. Yep. I'm down
Oh damn!
for it.
Could you just eat pasta with that sauce?
Yes. Oh my god, I've never tried that, but now I want to.
Okay.
That's terrifying.
That's cool.
But I will say that I have a similar sauce that I do really like, which is like the Edo Japan like teriyaki
that sauce is really good.
and you
Oh,
can
yeah.
buy it. So I've never bought it actually, but it is an option. It's out there.
Interesting. Okay, so Dia, what about sweet? What sweet flavor would you want forever?
This one is the harder one because I like a lot of different sweet flavors. It's
I do
easier
too.
for me to pick out like the ones that I'm like, yeah, I would definitely not want that. I think if I had to pick one sweet flavor, it would be one of like milk tea, so like tea flavored stuff, or
Yum.
like another like green tea flavored stuff I really like. So like one of those two, or pistachio. I really love pistachio. Is my favorite sweet flavor, and it's hard to get it in things, which sucks because it's my favorite.
Okay, now that you've said that, why do we not have yogurt with green tea flavoring in it?
I know. Like, I want that. It would be so
That sounds
good for
like a
me.
huge missed window right there.
I feel like because if it's green tea and what I know about tea in general is that maybe some of the compounds in yogurt don't play well
maybe.
with green tea where
Maybe.
it might oxidize, like it
Maybe.
over oxidizes in some
Maybe.
way,
That's
and
a
that
good
would
point.
produce a lot of bitterness.
Very
because
possible.
I worked in tea for
You
a while,
did.
so I
You
know
were
about
our tea
how
expert.
sensitive. Tea boy.
Tea boy.
And teas are
I'll have the tea, please.
teas are very sensitive.
Teas can be very
They
delicate.
are very delicate, and they
Yes,
can
I
be
like
very
delicate.
sensitive.
teas that are made from like tea leaves. There are lots of teas that are like herbals and other stuff like that. But we're talking green tea here.
Green tea is delicate.
Can
It's
be
a
very
delicate
delicate.
tea. And I think that was
It's a
the
baby.
thing. Like,
I like
every
it,
time I
though.
meet people and they're like, I don't
White
like
tea,
tea,
too.
I'm like, at first I'm like, sure, I just accept it because it's like some people don't like coffee. Like, they just don't like the taste of coffee. And that's completely valid.
Sure.
But a lot of the time when I meet people who are like, I don't like tea, I'm like, do you not
Have
like
you
a
tried-
specific kind of tea, or do you
Yeah.
not like the flavor of tea in general? And a lot of the time they'll say, oh, well, like, I like black tea, but I don't like green tea or oolong tea. And I'm like, have you ever made it properly? And they'll be like, what?
Yeah, have you-
They'll be like,
have
what
you-
do you
That's usually the
mean make it
question.
properly?
like
They're like,
not to be that person, but like in order, like basically what you're saying is like, have you had
Proper
tea?
have you had
though.
tea? Because the thing is, like, the nice thing about like black tea is it's a lot more resistant to heat. It doesn't burn as easily, and like it doesn't get bitter as easily. So like you can just
Yeah.
boil a pot of like water and not worry about the temperature, and boil it over black tea leaves and let it steep for however long, and
It's
it will
very
taste
forgiving.
it will taste good. It's a very forgiving tea. White
Yeah.
teas,
And then you get
herbal
white tea.
teas, green teas, they
You
are
can
not
scald those.
forgiving. They burn, and when they burn, they taste pretty bitter.
Terrible.
They
Man.
taste
Yeah.
It's like having burnt coffee or bad coffee in general, like where there's like that weird acidic note to
and
it.
it does
It's
taste
very
like that. And
stringent.
Like it's not the same note. I want to make sure that people understand it's not the same note. I'm just saying bad things happen when you.
acidic and
It's
astringent.
unfortunately it's not just hot water plus ingredient, and
There's
I wish
there's
it
quite a
was
bit of
because I know
technique
a lot of
involved.
people think it was because
well,
like
that's why
you
a lot
know,
of people
that way
end up
people would
burning
understand.
tea because they don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, different teas, like especially like when you're getting
Different
into the lighter
temperatures.
teas, like your white teas and your green teas, like they like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lighter temperature, and they like a more set brew time. What's often very typical with green tea is you'll brew it twice. So you'll have the first
True.
pot with like a fairly hot temperature to brew, but a short brew time. And then your second brew, you'll use the same tea leaves with cooler water and a slightly longer brew time. And it really draws out the flavor without scalding the tea and making it taste bitter. And you'll find like the way I always like get people to see if they like it or not is I'll take them to like dim sum. Like I'll take them to you and me, because like you get that the endless bottomless oolong there, and it's so good. Like they bring it to you in the kettle. It's the perfect drinking temperature. It's not burned. It's so flavorful without any sugar needed. Like you can just sit and drink
Right.
and enjoy the flavor of like the tea leaves. And I don't
Unsweetened
tell
pure
people,
tea.
like I just bring them and have them try it, and they'll drink it and they'll just be like, yeah, this is great. Like I could drink this like all the time. This is just a great, like lovely, warm drink. And it's like, this is what
Right.
tea
This
is
is
supposed to taste like.
real tea
Like that's what tea is
is.
supposed to
Exactly.
be like.
Yeah, totally.
It's true. And I still take pride in sort of the knowledge that I've gained and making a proper cup is important.
Yeah.
Agree.
I haven't made matcha in a long time.
Oh,
though.
I
will
love
say that
matcha.
that's one of the big things I miss about working in a tea shop is like having access to all the gadgets, gadgets
Yeah.
and gizmos and equipment in general. Like everything was just so easy and like strong blenders in case we needed to make ice drinks and stuff like
I
that.
love iced tea.
Always nice. Industrial levels. Hell
The
yeah.
good stuff.
Yep. Sure.
Do we want to
is.
get into the last thing here, or do we want to finish up?
You know, it
How are
kind of
people
feels like
thinking?
we're in a good place to almost wrap up. Like I feel like we've had a good wholesome conversation about like letter writing and tea. It's been a very cozy episode.
This was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cozy.
we'll talk about the next thing next time. No worries.
true, and it will be closer to
and it will mean that we
Exactly.
can have an excuse to have Dio back.
yeah, exactly. You have an excuse to bring me back.
I don't need an
Yeah,
excuse.
I just can kick the door down anytime and be like, I'm here.
Dio just needs to find time in her busy life.
My
for
podcast
us.
now, yoink.
What? No! Everything I've worked towards. Okay. Thank you for joining me. I hope everyone has a wonderful week. And spring is here for the most
Yes,
part.
enjoy the
And
weather.
go out and enjoy that.
Touch the grass, breathe in the spring air.
Or don't.
Yeah, that's
or
also
don't
valid.
if you're allergic to snow mold. Snow mold has at least finally
also
blown
don't.
its way out of the city
Yeah,
now,
I'm
so I think
finally
we're
safe.
okay.
As a snow mold allergy holder, I am finally safe.
Means we got to do some more walks outside and
Yes.
get some more sun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Go get some ice cream. or bubble
go
tea.
get
Did do that
some
last week, and it was amazing.
single flavored bubble tea.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That's a wrap. Thanks for joining us. Take care of yourselves. We love you.
Be good.